in science, because
This meeting is being recorded.
we do a great job of trying to organise as many internships as possible for our science students, to give them the opportunity to think about where they want their careers to go. There are many different directions you can take your career from a science degree. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, upon whose ancestral lands UTS stands in Sydney. I would also like to pay respect to elders, both past, present and future, and acknowledging them as the traditional owners of the land. So in today's program, we're going to have a look at some science program rankings, just to give you a kind of feel of how these programs are rated globally and the range of programs that there are for you. Secondly, we'll look at some of the themes through the teaching and learning practices at UTS. Then we'll talk about that work integrated learning or professional experience whilst you're studying, and then also look at the career options for science graduates. I'm going to move through the information quite quickly, so I hope it's not too fast for you, but I hope I can also share some really interesting things that are going on in science, especially in terms of career development. So you may already be aware that UTS is Australia's top-ranked young university, and we've held that position for several years. And we're ranked on a number of factors in terms of research, in different ranking systems around the world. We have some very good reputations that we've been able to build across the faculties, but also across different particular discipline areas. And UTS is ranked 133 in the QS World rankings. So we also have a very envious employment record in the QS employability rankings. So, you know, these are number 69 in the world for graduate employability. And that's really important for you in terms of having a really successful outcome from your studies, because of course we want you to be successful in your studies, but we also want you to be successful in building a career, building your profile while you're at university. So I'm going to move quickly through the rankings, but they are important for you to get an idea of where you're coming to study and the different kinds of things that the university is ranked on, the different markers and indicators that give universities good rankings. So firstly, at UTS, in the Faculty of Science, we use the UTS model of learning. We want to teach students to be flexible, to be adaptive, and certainly during COVID, that's been a really important demonstration of how critical it is for us to be able to adapt and change to what is going on around us, both as a teaching organisation, but for our students as well. Where challenges come up, we all have to try to adapt to meet those. And we do that through trying to give our students real world experiences, and that's where the internship experience or professional experience becomes really important. And we do that, we want to do that, and a lot of that work is done at undergraduate level as well. So if you're coming to UTS to do a bachelor degree, you'll be able to do an internship through your science studies. And in fact, across every faculty, we really work very hard to make sure that there are the best possible internship opportunities for our undergraduate students. Now, those things in science, an internship-like experience could include field trips. We do crime scene simulation for our forensic science students. The fantastic laboratories that we have for our students, you're using exactly the kind of...
Sorry to interrupt, but I think your slides are stuck at slide 2. So I think you need to reshare your slides.
Okay, well,
and click it to the presentation mode.
Sure. Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Can you see it now?
Okay, can we share and we'll see?
Yeah. So I'm just getting my, there we go. Can you see that now?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll get out of the,
Okay, would you be able to go to the presentation mode
sorry, the
at the bottom?
presentation mode, yes, sorry.
Yes,
There we go.
that's right.
Great. Thank you so much for your help. So we provide the very best equipment for you because you're going to be using the kind of instruments, the kind of resources that you'll find when you go out into the professional world. The equipment that you're using at the university is going to be what you'll find in a research lab. A good example of that is in the crime scene simulation suite, because the students, when they do their practical classes there, are using the actual crime scene kits that a crime scene officer or a forensic officer would use actually at a crime scene. So they're using all the kind of equipment. They use evidence bags, they use the kind of chemicals to find trace. They do the photography. A lot of the evidence is, well, in fact, all of the evidence that's found is recorded in situ by photography. So students are using all of those kinds of methods that they use in their classes to develop their skills. That is exactly the kind of instrumentation and resource that they're going to use out in the real world when they are working in that field. So as I said, you know, if COVID has taught us anything, we have to be very adaptive and develop skills for the future of work. We've all had to adapt and change and really move everything that we've been doing. We've all come to understand work in a new way through COVID. So that includes things like digital literacy, and even today, you know, working on the platform for this event has been really important to understand the features. But we particularly want to build problem-solving skills, develop those kinds of skills for our students, and also the ability to work across disciplines, because when you go out into the work environment, if you're working for a large company, you may be working with other scientists, but you might be working with engineering people, you might be working with design people, you may be working with business people in a marketing environment. And so your interpersonal skills are really important as well. And we develop all of these as you move through your degree, both in your course and through our careers unit.
Hi, Julia. Sorry to interrupt. Just want to make sure you're on the slide for skills for the future of work. Yeah.
Yes, I've just moved it now to the next slide. Should show world-class facilities.
Yeah, I think it's stuck again, so we're not able to see the slide moving.
Can you see I have moved it to the Super Lab and Hive Lab?
No.
Okay, all right, I'll just hop out. Sorry, I don't know why it's...
Okay,
the slides
just
are moving
changed.
from there.
We can see the Super Lab and Hive Lab now.
Great. Okay, that's fine. So this is a good example of what I'm talking about in terms of using the kind of facilities that you will use out in the real world in industry. These are our super labs at UTS, and they are full of the kind of equipment that you're going to use when you go to a research laboratory, or maybe a hospital laboratory if you're doing something in the medical or biomedical sciences, or in a chemistry facility, or in a physics lab. So these are the kind of facilities that we have at UTS. They are very, very modern and full of the kind of resources that you need to use to really develop your strong scientific methods. We also have wonderful facilities in terms of our library and reading room at UTS. These are brand new facilities. They're very modern and really have all the latest features for you to use the resources that UTS has, both in its library and its computer labs and other resources. So we draw very heavily on our research at UTS, and that informs our teaching. So once again, it's very hands-on and active learning so that you're ready for the workforce. And we want to teach students to think for themselves. And we're very lucky to have a range of experts and researchers. And this slide just shows you 2 Eureka Prize winners. They are, you know, our best scientific researchers in Australia. So we are very fortunate to have those people on our teaching and research staff at UTS, and that benefits you as you come through your degree. I'll quickly go through the bachelor programs. I think it's just interesting to note here that the range of programs that you can do in the Faculty of Science, they cover all different areas: environmental sciences, physics, chemistry, biotechnology, medical science, but also that forensic science, marine biology, mathematics, pharmaceutical sciences. So lots of different things going on. One of the other key things that we have at UTS is a very strong careers service, and they do a lot of preparation work with our students, short sessions, preparation for internships. We don't let you go out on an internship until you've done the preparation course, just so that you know what to expect when you go into a work environment, so that you're well equipped to handle the kind of different environment that you'll find when you do go to a work role. We also can offer you opportunities in study abroad and exchange, because we have a very large number of partners around the world. And maybe you'd like to take your internship experience as some time in this UTS startups area, because we're trying to build a little bit of entrepreneurial skill into our students. So even as a scientist, you may have an idea that you would like to scale up or commercialize, and by doing a short stint in our startups unit, that can also help you to build skills and get an understanding of what it's like to work in the scientific world and the commercial world as well. And in startups, we have a lot of mentors from community groups, commercial organisations. We want to teach students about that leadership quality. You know, these are the things that we are trying to build into our students so that they can gain those experiences as they're going through their degree. So we've talked about the opportunities that there are for you to start developing those skills, and we always talk with students about using the UTS Careers Service to develop their professional profile. What are the things that might get you noticed in the industry area? What should you be looking at in terms of industry and professional organisations, perhaps that you should be a member of, or that going to networking events where you can start to talk to people that are you know, stars in their industry area. So I've got a really good example here of one of our work integrated learning opportunities in science, and that's professional experience in biomedical sciences. And that is open to all students, whether they are domestic or international students. And you can see there are about 30% of our students who undertake this internship are actually international students. So it's a great opportunity. It's a 2-stage process. You do need to apply, and that's also useful to you because that starts to build your skills in the application process. just like a real world job application. And there are 3 separate sessions of that professional experience running every year. And you can see that we have usually about 38 or 40 students each session. For the summer 21 session, we had 38 students that were placed both in Sydney and in rural placements. Now, sometimes these placements are paid and sometimes they're unpaid, but a lot of our internships are actually paid placements. And you can see the students were placed with really large organisations like New South Wales Government Health Pathology, Douglas Hanly Moore and Lavity are very large pathology organisations here in Australia. So the students are getting some really high-end skills. They'll be moved from task to task within those pathology labs just to get a really good idea of, is this what they want to do for their career? So we think this is a great opportunity, and this is just one example, but we work with lots of different scientific organisations and companies to place our students, and we often get those organisations coming to the faculty to offer those to students, or they offer them through our UTS careers. Most of the places where our science students go on a professional experience program, the opportunities have been offered directly to UTS for the benefit of our students. But if a student did identify something that they were interested in and wanted to follow that up directly with the company, that is another way to get a professional experience as well. So from this slide, you can see there are so many different job areas that you can go into from the science and maths area, and lots of different career opportunities that we never even think about. You could go into a regulatory role. You could be working with a large commercial organisation, using your science skills in a marketing or a consultative role. You could be working with a government organisation to develop frameworks or legislations, or you could be working with an organisation like the Environmental Pollution Authority to look at compliance of organisations to rules and regulations that are already set. So there are lots of different ways to apply your skills. And I'd like to also just give you a little bit of an idea. You can find these salary guides. They are very accessible on the website. Hayes is a very large recruitment organisation in Australia and New Zealand, and they have some really detailed information about salaries from a range of different life science areas, from quite junior roles up to very senior roles. And they do also break that down across city and country areas, different state to state. So depending on what it is you want to do, there's some really good information on the web already for you. You can see this one, the careers and salaries for maths and physical sciences. This one is looking at people who do things like statistics and statistical modelling, quantitative finance, things that cover risk. And you can see the Hayes Salary Guide gives a really detailed breakdown of the general salary range for roles right across Australia, depending on whether you're in a larger state or a smaller state in Australia, and also ranging from a junior position right up to a senior position. So there's a lot of applications for the skills. In fact, particularly if you've got strong maths and physics skills, there's a whole world of data and statistical modelling, mathematical modelling that you can really use those skills in. Companies are really desperate for people with those very specialised skills, and you can see more of that there. So you can also, if you have time, you can have a look at some of the YouTube videos on the UTS website, looking at the facilities that we have on offer for you, listening to other international students talking about studying science at UTS, and even looking at the Biologics Innovation Facility. As I mentioned, this is a professional standard, industry standard facility where you're working with equipment exactly as you would find it out in industry. So really great opportunities, and we have companies giving our biologics facility all different kinds of projects to work on. It's kind of a proving ground and an opportunity to scale up commercial ideas. So, you know, you as a student in science may find that there's a project that you can do in that facility to really allow you to put your biomedical or biotechnology skills into practice. So thanks very much for listening to the presentation. I know we've moved through the material quite quickly, but I'm very happy to take any questions you have, and also to supply this presentation to IDP Singapore if you would like to view it again. So if you have questions, I'd be very happy to hear from you. If you do have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Julia, for your presentation. For all the students who have any other queries, can actually set up a one-on-one meeting with you to ask if they have any questions or queries.
Sure.
Alternatively, they can go to the lounge to speak to any of our counselors. And
Yes.
thank you once again for your insightful presentation.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Leila. Thank you.